Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Thoughts of the Young Icon with me, Sam. Today, I'm going to do a video about real estate. I work in real estate, and many of the times I get a lot of young people coming to me, Sam, teach us real estate. Sam, what is it exactly that you do? So, in today's video, I'm going to walk you through my aspect of real estate. So, real estate is multi-dimensional, it's got very many angles, but in today's video, I'm going to take you through what I do on a day to day and how I got to the position that I am, the qualification that you need, and hopefully that can help you if you want to be in real estate to get into the role as well. Enjoy the video. Thank you. So today I'm here to talk about real estate. I have many people who come to me often saying, Sam, please teach us about real estate. We see that you work in real estate and we want to have an understanding of real estate. So this video is for you. To begin with, real estate is a very wide field. Now, when we talk about real estate, there's many aspects of real estate. There's the buying and selling of property, there's the leasing of property, and even when we get into property, real estate, there's many types of real estate. So I think let me start with how to become qualified as a real estate practitioner in Malawi. So I'm speaking to you, my Malawian brothers and sisters, those of you who may be interested in becoming a licensed real estate practitioner like me. The starting point, unfortunately, a lot of people don't like to hear this. The starting point is that you need to get a real estate degree or a real estate academic qualification. I know of some people who did a first degree in, say, economics or accounting, and then did a master's in real estate, and that's how they entered the field. Me personally, I did a undergrad, my bachelor's degree in land economy, which is just another fancy way of saying real estate. So that's the starting point. You get your academic qualification in real estate, and then upon completing your academic qualification, there is a requirement that you work under someone who is licensed for at least 2 years. So you get your degree. The next thing you do is you need to seek out those who are licensed, and then you can work under them. Unfortunately, in Malawi, or fortunately, I don't know whichever way you want to look at it, there are very few licensed practitioners. So in order for you to be able to work under someone who's licensed, you need to be industrious. You need to work on your network. You need to be able to go out. You need to be able to put yourself out there and convince them to take you under their wing. I mean, for one, I like to take people under my wing. I'm happy to do it. I really enjoy teaching, and so I'll gladly do it. But for some of the other practitioners, it becomes a bit tricky. Our work can get really busy. So what you need to do is you need to be one of those people who's a self-starter, someone who, when you come under someone's wing, it's easy to take you on. You learn quickly. You do a lot of your own research. And yes, you complete your 2 years. So it's 2 years minimum. I know very few people who, upon 2 years, then went on to the next step. But for many of us, it was about 3 years, 4 years, some 5, 6, 7. I even know people who practice under someone for as long as 10 years. So the next step after working under a licensed practitioner is that you then apply to the board for registration. So the requirement for applying to the board for registration is, again, the academic qualification. There's a document, a form that they give out, which you take to your licensed practitioner as proof that indeed you were their understudy. And then there's what is known as a diary. So all these requirements, these are things which once you're doing your training, you're going to know of them. So in the diary, you basically indicate all the work that you've done whilst working under the licensed practitioner. It's proof that you actually have practical knowledge, because when you got your academic qualification, you have a lot of theoretical knowledge. So the 2 years that you're working under someone, that's to provide you now with practical knowledge on how things are actually moving about on the ground. So you apply to the board. If the board sees that you're fit or you qualify, the next step is they call you for an interview. So it's an oral exam in an interview form. When you pass the interview, they then call you for a written exam. And the written exam, if I'm not mistaken, it should be about 3 hours long. It's not terrible. It's one of those exams that if you have properly gone through the system, if you've got your academic paper, if you've worked under someone who's licensed, then it's a breeze. It's a test of competency, and the system is so robust in that if you have the academic qualification and after working for someone who is licensed, that exam, the interview, both are supposed to be very easy. And then once you have passed your oral interview, you've passed your written exam, the board is gladly going to make you a licensed practitioner. So in Malawi here, there was a point where they were sort of entertaining the idea of having general practitioners, valuers only, property managers only, auctioneers only, estate agents only. However, our act, as far as it goes, our act of parliament, the statute that guides us, it only has room for general practitioners. So all of us here in Malawi, we practice as licensed general practitioners, which means we can carry out valuations, we can do estate agency, we can do auctioneering, and some go into the branch of real estate known as property management, which is a whole different branch. So now that you have your qualification, I guess I should now tell you about the different avenues of real estate that you can then take. Like I've mentioned, so at my company, Iconic Real Estate Agency, there are four main areas uh, in which we are a part of. So in terms of real estate, there are four main services that we provide. The first one being valuation services, estate agency services, property management services, and advisory services. So I'm going to start um, in the opposite order with advisory services. So advisory services is basically we offer our clients advice to do with real estate. So let's say someone has an idea or someone has a piece of land or someone has um, capital that they're looking to pump into real estate. They can come to us, they can come to me through my company, Iconic Real Estate Agency, and basically seek my guidance as to how they should go about it. You know, in real estate, some of these things may seem pretty straightforward. Like you'd assume everyone knows that if, let's say, you have land in a low density area, then you should build in accordance with that area. But many other times here in Malawi, we see quite the contrary. Someone is in a high density area and they're building a mansion, or someone is in a low density area and they're building a small 2 bedroom house. Obviously it doesn't conform because there's certain principles in real estate that come into play. So in my advisory role, I am able to guide my clients as to how best to invest in real estate. If they want to do modifications to their house, I'm able to guide them as to what aspects of the house they should look to improve in order to improve the capital value. You see, there's the aesthetic side of it, which the architects come into play, and then there is the capital value side of it, which covers the area of how much the property is going to be worth. Now, in my advisory role, I ensure that my clients create the highest and best use possible for their properties, thereby giving it its highest capital value or its highest market price. So that's one side of the advisory side. Obviously, there's also issues of compensation. Let's say in an instance where government is trying to build a road and they're going to go through someone's land, that I can do an assessment, which kind of falls under the valuation side of it as well. But it's also part of my advisory role to tell someone that, look, if government is going to take your land, you need to know that you need to be compensated, or where there's disputes with regards to land ownership and things like that, I can come in and advise my clients likewise. So that's the advisory side. And then there's the property management. So property management is pretty straightforward. This is an arrangement where property owners, they come to us at Iconic and they say, look, we have these 10 properties. We don't have time to be managing these properties. We would want for you to take the management role off of our hands, and they'll pay us a commission for it. So as a property manager, we basically act on behalf of the landlord. We essentially become the landlords. So we take on the role of finding tenants, we take on the role of collecting rentals, carrying out repair works, carrying out maintenance works, and settling any disputes that can arise with regards to a property. So we become essentially the middleman between the landlords, the property owners, and the tenants. In fact, we can call ourselves the landlords because when the property owners give us their property to manage on their behalf, we act in their stead. In other words, we become the lords, the landlords in their stead. So property management, basically it's to do with managing property on behalf of some property owners. So there's two main types of property management. There is the residential property management and commercial. I guess you can throw in retail or facilities management. If you'd like to know a bit more, you just kind of dig deeper with your research, look into what could interest you. For one, I like residential property management and commercial with regards to office buildings, but you can also do retail, for argument's sake, shopping centers. That's something that is a field of real estate that's also pretty interesting. And what I love most about work in real estate is that it's fascinating. It's different. No 2 days are the same. No two properties are the same, even if they're built identically. We have a principle in real estate that says that there's no two properties that are exactly the same. So the other side of real estate, my favorite aspect of real estate is real estate agency. So real estate agency, by this I mean the buying and selling of properties. So at my company, Iconic Real Estate Agency, I work as the head of sales department. So for me, my job is twofold. My job is to firstly find properties to sell, and then secondly, and most importantly, find people to buy those properties. So with a state agency, I think one of the hardest parts, or I feel like both aspects are very difficult, but one of the most difficult aspects of real estate is a real estate agency is finding properties to sell. So I'm not going to give you any trade secrets and tell you how I do that, but I will let you know that that's the difficult side. With regards to the selling itself, that's pretty simple. We use media platforms. We use the traditional media platforms such as newspapers, from time to time radio adverts, but very rarely. And also we take advantage of the digital platforms such as Facebook. Facebook Marketplace has become a very, very, very big place for real estate sales. And bigger companies also have websites. I, for one, do not yet have a website, and it's mainly because I feel our market in Malawi has not matured enough to the point where it warrants having a website. But it's something that obviously we're looking into developing for the future. I've already engaged someone who's doing that for us. But as at the real estate market now, you can have a website just to be fancy, but I don't think it's going to have as much traffic as, say, Facebook, which is one of the biggest platforms when it comes to a state agency. Lastly, for today, is the aspect of real estate that was known as valuation. And in some countries, it is called appraisal. So valuation is basically determining the price or the value of a real estate asset. Valuation is a very, very exciting field of real estate. It's one where it's very mathematical, it's very technical. This one is one where you need to excel, especially during your school times. You need to ensure that you're good with mathematics, you're good with numbers, and there's some principles that come into play. The biggest principle with any market obviously becomes demand and supply, but there's so many other factors that we look into when we talk about valuation. So in valuation, you can value basically any type of property. You talk of residential properties, commercial properties, hotels, you value farms, you value businesses as going concerns. Let's say a lodge, you can value a lodge as a going concern or a hotel as a going concern. Valuation is a beautiful. I like it because it's a very technical aspect of real estate, and I'm very big on technical and things that are complex and have a lot of numbers. So real estate valuation and appraisal, as some countries call it, is an area of real estate that enables you to use your mathematical mind and your mathematical skills. And so I would recommend it for someone who's interested in real estate. So I've gone through basically how you get the qualification. I've then gone through the aspects of real estate that I work in. So there's a couple more aspects of real estate that exist, but with regards to um, the areas in which I operate mainly in those four areas. But another area that comes off of the top of my head, which is also very exciting and something that, if you're young, you should probably look into studying and getting into is real estate development. Malawi being a developing country, there's so much room for real estate development. There's so many projects going on. You talk of, people building townhouses, people building commercial buildings. If you have a qualification in real estate development, this comes into play. So real estate development, it's also part and parcel of property management, and it has elements of operations. So what you're doing is you're bringing together a lot of disciplines. You're bringing together a team. Real estate developers are mostly like team leaders. So they come up with a concept, they come up with an idea, and then they bring together the players to actualize that idea.